So, Ahmed, after nearly 2 years of war, how has the Sudanese army been able to make and consolidate these gains over the last few months? How have they managed to turn the tide?
Well, there's two reasons. Number one, it's due to the military support that the Sudanese army has received from some of its allies. Some of the sophisticated drones that it's received from Turkey, some of the fighter planes that it's received from Russia via Algeria, some of the support it's received from Iran, Egypt, has really changed the trajectory of this war. But secondly, it's managed to cut off the supply lines of the RSF into Khartoum. So just 6 months ago, the tide was completely different. So the RSF controlled Khartoum, Bahri, which is North Khartoum, and much of Umdurman. Now, in central Sudan, RSF has lost control of Al-Fasher, of most of Khartoum, of Umdurman, of Bahri. So while they control much of the country in Darfur, most of Darfur is under RSF control, apart from Al-Fasher. It's lost its gains in the central of the country, and it's meant that the momentum is really with the Sudanese army. It doesn't mean that the war is likely to end, because the RSF still controls 35% of the country, still controls Darfur, like I said, which is the size of France, apart from Al-Fasher in North Darfur. So this war can only really end with international pressure on the RSF's allies and backers, principally the UAE, principally African states like Chad, like Ethiopia, like Kenya, like Uganda, Central African Republic, to stop supplying supplies to the RSF through Chad, and places like Kenya to stop supplying diplomatic and logistical support. Every single RSF rebel leader has been in Nairobi, the city that I reside, in the last 6 months. They're allowed to travel here freely, they're allowed to host meetings, and allowed to propose a rival government. Until that stops, the war will continue, unfortunately.
So I suppose what you were saying there is there's not necessarily going to be a uniquely military solution to this. This isn't going to be kind of the RSF retreating until there's nothing left of them. We need to see a wider international diplomatic effort. Is that what you're saying? I see you nodding there. So I'm going to carry on with another question, if I may. What is it that these other countries, these allies of the RSF, are hoping to gain by continuing to supply them, especially now they're on the retreat?
Well, some of these countries are UAE client states. So what that means is when the UAE says jump, they say how high and how many times. The support from Libya comes from General Haftar, who himself relies on UAE support. The support from Chad is, again, because the UAE provides support for Chad and Ethiopia. Now, in places like Kenya, it's a bit more complicated. In Kenya, they're using some of the looted gold, which is still under RSF control, and that's why they're providing support, and they're hoping that they can maintain this basically money bag that they're getting from General Hemeti. But essentially, these are all US allies. So while the US is claiming that the RSF is a genocidal outfit, it's doing nothing beyond the lip service on applying real pressure. It sanctioned 12 RSF-controlled companies in the United Arab Emirates, but did nothing against the United Arab Emirates itself. So again, this is just lip service, while actually in reality, they're still not doing anything to stop this war from ending. With one phone call from Donald Trump to the UAE, I'm sure that this war could end, and many Sudanese people agree with me.
We know that Trump is a man for one phone call. All right, Ahmed Caballo from Nairobi, thank you so much for your insight there.